As someone new to the area, today was really eye-opening for me. Many of our neighborhoods depend on our levee systems, as we know, and they really do keep us above water. They require constant maintenance, and this series of storms has really put them to the test. And tonight, we're touring the flood protection surrounding Natomas, one of the most at-risk areas in the nation for catastrophic flooding. But first, I want to go ahead and get over to Monica Woods because we do still have active weather out there, don't we, Monica?
Right, and as we peel back the layers of storm after storm, what you're going to tell us in just a moment is going to be that much more impactful because we still have minor flooding possible here throughout the valley until 8 p.m. with our flood advisory, low-lying areas, flood-prone areas, as well as water on the roadways still happening. And that's because we've still seen lines of storms move throughout the course of the afternoon. Still have one moving towards the Yuba City area. As we head towards the foothills, things are quieting down ever so slightly, but snow piling up in the Sierra. In fact, we've got near whiteout conditions. Now, the line of storms that moved through earlier this morning, roughly at about 3:30 to 4:30 in the morning, producing those very gusty winds, anywhere from about 35 to 45 plus miles per hour. Auburn with a 56 mile per hour peak gust in parts of Calaveras County. We saw wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. Winter storm warning in effect until 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. 1 to 4 inches, it should be 4 to 16 inches of new snow, gusts at about 50 miles per hour, and dangerous travel. Avalanche warning continues through tonight as well for the backcountry. Large avalanches possible because of the rain mixed with snow, with rain again, snow again. It's been that flip-flop up in the Sierra. Tonight, it is all snow for the Sierra. You can see the rain still coming in at 10 o'clock, and then we get a brief break. But here we go again, folks. We're right back with the rain for our Wednesday forecast, and that's going to keep us with this flood watch through Wednesday with rainfall and runoff a possibility. There's our storm lineup. We're going to take this all the way through Monday, Alex.
All right. Thanks, Monica. Now, more than 40 miles of levees surround Sacramento's Natomas Basin. Reclamation District 1000 is patrolling some of these areas as we speak as back-to-back storms continue. And what I was shown today was extremely eye-opening, as I just mentioned. Some of the critical interior infrastructure, like pumps, they need updating. And other parts of the flood control system are under improvement by the Army Corps of Engineers. And for the last 2 years, the Reclamation District has been advocating for more funding, saying that we often don't think about water infrastructure until it's failed and danger's at our front door.
Try to tell them to keep their stuff clear. This is what we use to patrol the levee system, right? Or the top of the levee. And you can see some of the issues that we run into being able to patrol when we're on our continuous 24/7 is trees. This is a large tree that fell overnight, but then also the encampments.
This is something frequently that you guys run into, is being able to just patrol.
And so most of the time, these events happen in the middle of the night for whatever reason, and there's a lot of hazards out here. Lots of dogs. There's lots of drug paraphernalia that it's just litters the ground. Some of the things that they do, although this one's not too concerning to me at this point, but you can see this is part of the levee. So we're down on the lower patrol road, and so part of the levee system here. But underneath the bridge abutment, you can see an excavation in the levee. And so what happens is when the water comes up, it starts eroding that material from that excavation, and that could lead to further and further degradation of the levee embankment.
With the amount of people here, is this a major concern for you guys that there are this many unhoused people this close to the water?
Yeah, it is a concern for us because of what comes along with it, right? The excavations, the dig during, our emergency response plan. It does prevent us from expeditiously going through and monitoring and inspecting the levee, and it slows us down. So we're not able to do it as efficiently or as fast because, if the roadway's blocked, and then obviously from a humanitarian standpoint, potential loss of life.
And what are your major concerns looking at the next 24 to 48 hours with another storm coming? What are your major concerns right now?
Biggest concern is the wind and power outages, which would take our pumping plants offline, and there's no guarantee of the restoration of that power in any time frame, right? So like SMUD over the weekend had 350,000 customers out of service at one point. We're one of them.
I know something that you've been working on is getting some more money to help you guys do some of the repairs that you need. And you said it's been, 30 years since you guys have gotten an increase in any type of funding to do some of the repairs. So talk to me a little bit about what you've been working on for a while now.
And it's been over 30 years since the district's raised its assessment rate for property owners. And so there's a lot of deferred maintenance that obviously has happened over the last 30 years that the district didn't have funding for. We're in the second step now on the funding proposal. Our ballots are going out January 15th, and so then the public will get to decide to approve or not approve the proposed fee. The increase would be roughly about $12 a year.
So once it goes on the ballot in January, should find out the results by March about how soon, if it does get passed, about how soon are you guys able to start doing the work, or when would the fees actually go into effect?
Yeah, if the voters do approve it on March 10th is the date, and then we'll count the ballots. We would place it on the tax rolls for 23-24 tax years. And so part of that fee would be to have spare backup parts, make sure all of our systems are standardized so that we can have an inventory of supplies that we could take to any one of our plants should we have a need. But yes, this facility is in a run to failure mode, hasn't had a major upgrade in over 30 years, and we are seeing signs of failure.
Everyone knows that Natomas is a floodplain, but talk to me about why it is so important to have this additional funding. Like if we saw flooding like we did on the New Year's Eve storm, what would that look like here in Natomas?
The New Year's Eve storm, if we had a failure that was seen like in South Sacramento, we would have potentially at maximum depth about 16 feet of standing water in South Natomas. And then further up north, it would be 3 to 4 feet of water. It would shut down Interstate 5, 80, 99, Sac International Airport would close down. So there's a lot at stake as far as the transportation corridors go. And then we also have 130,000 people that live within our basin.
District Reclamation 1000, I mean, you guys are responsible for keeping over 130,000 people safe, and you have a staff of about 8 people. No pressure at all. But speaking to some of the residents here in Natomas, what do you want them to know about some of the work you guys are doing?
We are dedicated. We are ready to go at a moment's notice if we have a flood fight that we need to do. Don't wait around and say, oh, it's not going to get higher. If there is a evacuation notice issued, leave right away.
Now, one thing that I thought was interesting that Kevin mentioned during our ride along was that there is a difference in water temperatures between an area like Natomas and an area like New Orleans where Hurricane Katrina hit. And he told me that the water in New Orleans is about 70 degrees on average, 70 degrees and above. And in Natomas, it's about 50 degrees. So hypothermia is a real danger when you really think about people needing to swim or walk in water just to evacuate. All right, now as we highlight the importance of our levee system and flood control, we wanted to talk with people experiencing homelessness along the levees. So that's after the break. Many of the unhoused people who live along our levees have stayed outside in the elements through this series of storms. And today, our Becca Habegger visited an encampment along with an organization who was working to care for them.
The water's right there.
Amanda Rosriano lives in a bus currently parked along part of the levee system that protects Sacramento from the American River.
This is not a permanent thing anyway, it's a temporary thing, but it's definitely kind of scary. This morning there was lightning.
Some people living out here are intense, like Melody Friels.
I heard you mention something about your tarp. Can you tell me about what the storm has done to your living situation?
Soaked it, made it so wet and hard and cold. It's hard out here. I've never been homeless, so it's been hard.
She says a car crash a couple of years ago changed her life.
I don't even know what stable housing is anymore. I don't. It's like before all of this, I was on my own. I was taking care of myself. I was paying rent. Had a car. I was doing all of that, and then had a bad car accident, and that put me out on the street. I got a bad head injury.
Without a vehicle now, she says she doesn't know where her next meal is coming from, which is why she's so grateful for this community advocate named Bree, who founded an organization called the Awkward Gardeners Community Table.
My goal with Awkward Gardeners Community Table is to take food surplus and avoid it from becoming food waste by diverting it to folks who are experiencing food insecurity.
Bree comes to this camp every Sunday, offering food to people who live here and working to meet needs that have only grown during the storms, as Reese Tate knows.
Luckily, I just got to stay with someone indoors due to the storm, but prior to being able to be indoors, it was horrible. The tents are flying over everywhere. There's trees knocking things down. I was in someone's mobile home that almost went over into like it was parked on a narrow street and almost tilted over the edge, like seriously, to a ditch.
She says Bree's weekly visit offers a ray of hope.
She's just perfect. I get happy every time I see her.
Bree is not only handing out food, but also giving out winter supplies as donations come in, including tents, sleeping bags, tarps, and socks.
It's items to keep them warm, keep them dry, keep them safe, that can withstand the winds and the temperatures and the rain coming at them all at once.
And the women we met say they're thankful.
So without her coming out here, I would be going hungry.
As part of her work, Bree also stocks free community fridges for people in need of food. And we do have information on how you can contribute to the Awkward Gardeners community table, from food donations to winter supplies and all the money that they need to buy it. All you have to do is just head to abc10.com/to-the-point and then look for the links mentioned article. It'll be right there. And you may be wondering why people are still living outside in these storms if the city is offering shelter. And people that we have heard from say that they don't want to leave everything behind. And we've heard that exact same sentiment from a lot of homeowners who refuse to evacuate over the course of the last week and a half. And some homeless advocates say that we should be taking a different approach to get unhoused people to safety.
Why not put up some trailers or some, industrial tents next to an encampment so people don't have to, they can have their stuff protected.
For now, Sacramento is extending the operation of its weather respite center, and that includes free RT shuttle services to shelters. And we've got a whole list of resources to help you weather the storm. Just text the word storm to 916-321-3310. We'll send you a link to traffic maps, power outages, official updates, and much, much more. We'll be right back after this. So this was the American River today at the Watt Avenue Bridge. Water levels are still running high and there is more rain and snow on the way. Sacramento County parks and trails still remain closed. And this is the view from above Inland Park today. Historic trees have been uprooted by all of the wind and rain. Homes are damaged, and tonight hundreds of SMUD customers in Inland Park are still in the dark. And then neighbors in the Lemon Hill area of South Sacramento have been without power for days now. Our Roxanne Elias went out to talk with those who have lost their lights, their heat, even their food, and they are worried that things will only get worse with all these storms on the way.
We've been here about 5 years and nothing like this. This is a lot. This is a lot.
For the past 3 days, Terry Pulling has spent her time dealing with no power in her home off Lemon Hill Avenue.
The refrigerator, everything in the fridge is gone, bad. Got to clean that out, and it's completely dark. I mean, and we don't light that many candles, but it's just completely dark and it's cold. Cold because there's no heat. And that's kind of scary. So I haven't really been able to sleep very well.
On top of no electricity, she's scared the water surrounding her home will soon get inside. So for 4 hours a day, she's been digging trenches on her property by herself. Just up the road off Lemon Hill Avenue, another neighbor is also worried about losing his power again.
Waking up and the loud noise and not knowing what was going on, then looked outside, everything was down, lights.
William Murphy lost power during the first storm on New Year's Eve. That same night, a large branch fell off this tree in front of his yard, landing on top of his garage.
Well, I'm concerned about it's just going to happen again, the lights going out, and I'm trying to get prepared for that, get candles, more candles.
Earlier Tuesday afternoon, we spotted SMUD crews working on Lemon Hill Avenue where a power pole blocked the road. Neighbors tell us the people who live there haven't been able to leave. We asked SMUD if there was a timeline on when the power will be back. They tell us they have restored more than 98% of the outages since the start of the series of the storms. Terry Pulling says she just wants to be informed so she can prepare.
You need to look into trying to do this because I went to get some candles and batteries just down the street and their power was out, so I had to go somewhere else. And when I got there, they had nothing on the shelves.
All right, Monica, I want to turn things over to you so we can look at conditions right now, because as we keep talking about, more rain and snow are on the way.
Right, and we're still dealing with it for tonight. Areas of thunderstorms continue to redevelop here. We've got one that's just now starting to move out of the coastal hills, pressing towards the valley. This has been the repeated pattern over the past hour or so. We've got snow in the Sierra, occasionally whiteout conditions. So just zooming in a little bit more, just off to the west of 505 and I-5, you can see that isolated cell there. It's been popping up, and we have periods of heavy rain as well as some gusty winds. In terms of our 48-hour rain totals, we're almost at 6 inches for Arnold. Groveland over 4.5 inches of rain. Winters over 3 inches. Elk Grove and Folsom about 1.5 inches or so of rain just in the past 2 days. Now this satellite image just all lit up. We've got multiple systems still working their way through the Pacific that are going to hit, and that is going to continue this streak of at least measurable rain since the beginning of the year for Sacramento, and it goes even beyond that into December. But at least since the start of 2023, you can see each day we've recorded rain here, with yesterday actually with the most rain that we saw, with 1.32 inches for downtown Sacramento, well above average. And take a look at these numbers. A lot of folks are asking, okay, so is this the wettest January that we've seen? Well, not so much. We'd have to go back to the Great Flood in 1862 to see that, when we had 15 plus inches of rain in Sacramento. Now, most recently in 2017, we had almost 10 inches of rain in the month of January. That year, a drought buster. Could be on our way to another one. We're well above average for many places since the beginning of the water year, and that's good news. Again, we're coming off of 3 years of drought, this being the 4th year, because technically we're still in it. We'll get a new reading on Thursday. This next weather system providing us with about 1/10 of an inch to 1/2 inch of rain, and an additional 4 to 16 inches of snow for the Sierra. Some of the higher elevations are going to benefit much more. As you can see, the next line of storms already gearing up. It hits us on Wednesday. Brief break on Thursday. We still have the slight chance for some light showers coming in both Thursday and Friday, but the next big wave arrives on Friday afternoon, and it comes with quite a lot of rain and snow for the Sierra. So that second system for the week here, that'll be storm system number 3, I should say, is going to give us roughly about 1 inch to 2 inches more of rain, and then about 3 to 7.5 inches of rain for the foothills. It's going to be a mix of rain for the Sierra along with some snow, where we'll see that pile up. Again, that's going to be our Saturday through Monday system, with roughly about 24 to 80 inches of snow for the Sierra. All of that very welcome news, because that feeds our reservoirs. We like to melt that down slowly and fill those reservoirs to have capacity to give us water during the dry season. So on and off rain showers right through the next couple of days for the foothills and the coast, with a slight chance for some thunderstorms on Friday there for the coast. Our 10-day forecast, we're going to keep rain at least in there for Thursday, Friday. Those are not going to be big rain event days, just a slight chance of a passing shower. Bigger rain event arrives on Saturday, takes us through Monday with lingering showers Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we're back to some dry weather there on Thursday and Friday, Alex.
All right, Monica, thank you. And we do have a whole list of resources to help you weather the storm. Again, just text the word storm to 916-321-3310, and we'll send you everything like traffic maps, power outages, official updates, and everything that you need to know. We'll be right back after this. The impacts of the storms over the past week and a half have been felt across the state that we call home. At least 17 people have died, and the severe weather threat is not over yet. California's wet winter is already costly and catastrophic. At least 17 people have died across the state. 2 people were saved from their cars after a massive sinkhole swallowed half of the road outside of LA. Further west, strong rains have flooded the Ventura River, threatening the homeless who camp nearby it. First responders there had to rescue at least 7 people who were stranded on an island in the middle of the rapids. In Santa Cruz County, some highways have flooded and evacuation orders have forced others to leave their neighborhoods. That's where Governor Newsom was on Tuesday, his trip to the coast giving him a chance to see the storm's impacts firsthand. And for places already hit by the flooding, now comes the digging out and cleaning up. Feet of mud caking roads and homes, creating its own new and costly problem without much time to remedy it before the next wall of rain hits the state. All right, please stay safe out there. Our weather coverage continues tonight on Late News Tonight at 11. And we always want to know what's going on in your community. So don't forget to reach out to me and the team. You can send us an email at tothepoint@abc10.com. Have a great night.
So good news, we just have an open tonight. That's all I need to record.
Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.